Hi, this is Rich. The movie I brought in today was Lola Runt, or Run Lola Run, from about 1999.
All right, give us a little synopsis of what the movie's about.
It's definitely got 3 acts in it, and it's what happens when you're off a little bit each time. You're off you're late by one little bit. Things can change drastically, so people's lives change, events change, and
The
things like that.
butterfly effect?
Butterfly effect, part of it.
Yeah.
Would you think that the theme of the movie had to deal with choices?
It did in a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
okay.
it starts off a little fatalistic.
So let's start out. What was the problem in the film? What was the character? What was the problem that the character had to face?
Well, she had to try to stop her boyfriend from robbing a place and getting into some big trouble.
I don't think it was robbing the place. I think it was her boyfriend had misplaced money.
He had misplaced money, but he was telling her this is how she got the call, and she knew he was going to do something stupid. And then
Is it because he was a man?
he was, yeah, I guess so. I don't know, but it all comes from leaving. Am I supposed to do this, or are there spoilers or something?
No, you can.
Okay,
Can
he leaves a bag of money that was intended for his mob boss in a seat in a subway car, and a homeless guy finds it. So you find that he's now out of money. He's got to do something about it, and he's only got a few minutes to get it fixed. So his only option is he calls her for help, and she's trying to stop him from doing that, trying to figure out other ways. But it turns into him rushing into to see if he can get the money, and she's
store?
trying, and using a grocery store or small
Trying to rob it.
petty stuff, and then she ends up involved, and then some chaos occurs, and she gets basically killed in the first act, and then it turns into a transition. So it starts the story again. It's sort of like a German version of Groundhog Day.
Sure. Jennifer, were you able to relate to the main character's boyfriend with this scenario when he left something on the train? Were you able to relate to that incident where, like, say, you've left your keys behind or you've left something behind, just being absent-minded in situations?
No,
Not at all. You've never forgotten anything. It's all been pretty straightforward for you.
Well, that's because I always do the pocket check whenever I go.
Do you really?
Yes.
You really, man, you're way smarter than
Wow.
me. You're way smarter.
I leave my headlights on way too much for my own good.
Oh man, I have left the key somewhere else. I had to call up a friend to come bring me the key to get into my place. So yeah, I could relate to.
If I had
leaving
$1
stuff
for
behind.
every time my roommate has had to help me jump the car, I
Oh,
would,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, I got the booster cables again.
You know, you and it was interesting how they set up him losing the money on the train. It was a subway situation, right, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Right?
I wasn't here.
Oh, you were. That's right. I forgot.
She missed the beginning.
That's right, you missed at the very beginning.
Came
so
in
it's-
late and see what lateness gets you.
Zelda,
Get
tell us a little bit about the how the money was misplaced at the beginning. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Monty went on the train, and it turned out the cops showed up on the train, so he panicked, and he got off early and left his money behind.
They set up two things in that shot. They set up him getting the money, and they set up the homeless man, and they set up his nervousness in the shot. And then once he saw the police, that's when he got up absent-minded and jumped off the plane or jumped off the train.
Oh, man!
I always jump off the
Skydiving for dummies!
Exactly.
Rule number 1,
Exactly.
remember the parachute.
So when we do a remake of this, we're gonna have him jump off a plane. And
Yeah, and that's the fourth ending.
Exactly.
Act 4.
Exactly.
Do-over.
Exactly. Now, was there one thing I found interesting about the overall film is that one reason we were able to accept the weirdness of how this was shot was because it was very, very stylized of movie making. I mean, we went from bright colors to cartoons to that transition where Lola gets a phone call and a red phone call, and we go to the picture of her mother in the other room talking to. We never knew who the hell it was, and then we see the steady cam go behind the mother, go to the transition of her running down the stairs.
Well, we do actually kind of get a hint as to who the mom's talking to.
Oh, do
It
we?
seems like she's talking to a secret lover of
Oh, is
hers
it?
because
Yeah.
she's talking about horoscopes and how normally when you talk about horoscopes, you talk about how people fit together personality-wise.
Yeah.
And she says something about like her husband. She's like, "But I'm married. I have children." Or you're
Yeah.
married and you have children, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was important for that particular moment to be so distinctly specific with the Sagittarius thing and like telling her to go get the shampoo. That's so you can cue in to the fact that this story is starting all over again.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, one of the things nice about this, maybe you may or may not have noticed, is the only scene in the entire film that is exactly the same on all three transitions.
Is
The scene where she calls out to get the shampoo, the camera circles around her, and it goes to the TV set. That entire piece was used 3 times, and they didn't change anything. All the other scenes had changes.
Oh, I
And-
know.
And also whenever certain things changed for her in order for to succeed or to go forward, all the shots were a little different for each one of the transitional pieces. So there's basically 3 acts, and they all 3 have all the shots are different planned shots. If you notice when she's running along that one boulevard in Berlin, the one shot is on one side of the street. In the second storyline, it's practically in the middle of the street that she's running across, and then the third part, she's running across from the other side of the street. It's like a y-axis or something like that, and that was one of the things that the director wanted to make sure people understood. So each one of the segments is distinctly different.
Well, it's interesting. 2 thoughts come to mind. One is that's a great transition going from her Lola's phone call with the red phone into her mother's room into the transition of Lola in the cartoon version running down the stairs.
Oh,
Very,
yeah.
very clever. And as filmmakers, it's important that we learn how to have. If the purpose of our film is to be seamless and not take the audience out of the film, to have those nice transitions that we aren't jarred that we're at a different scene, and that was a nice way of doing it. Another trick that filmmakers do is they do what's called repetition. Is they spell out the specific story the first time all the way through, and then the second time they tell the story, they cut it, to just the highlights of that story, so that you don't need you don't need the highlights or all the details again and again, or it gets repetitious and boring. And so that's something that we as filmmakers can do for editing or for to quick up the pace, or it's even done like in dialogue. So let's say that you had a story with 2 characters where in one act one character was confessing to a murder to his friend Joe Bob, and then in the second act, when he goes to confess to the murder to his mother or something like that, we see him start the story, say, "I confess to this murder," but we don't have time on the footage to retell that whole murder.
Exactly.
Again, we cut to her response to that murder. So by spelling it out first completely, it lets the viewer already be aware of what they need to know. Then later on in the film, we can cut it closer and tighter, so the viewer can say, "Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about." So,
And that's what they did in the scene. That's why they started at the hanging up of the phone.
Yep.
They could have gone from the very beginning, but that would have been totally
Monotonous and boring. Yeah, absolutely. What do we think that? Go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking the reason why they needed all those specific moments in the story isn't just like to show the butterfly effect. It's also so that the audience has a good sense of time within the story. Because if you know roughly, like, oh, did she get to the part where she runs into the lady with the kid in the walker? Oh, then that means it's before the part where this and this happens. Like, it's a good way to kind of orientate.
orientation of the
And it
film.
helps she's self-aware of all these changes, too, because she knows what happened the first time if she's dodging the car. And then she's like, okay, well, dodging the car didn't work because it got in a worse accident. So maybe if I let the car hit me, it'll not make it get into an accident.
Mhm.
Well, I was
And
actually
also
thinking of
the
it as a timing
gun.
thing, that she missed the car, or was at different times, but she didn't intentionally mean to either one of those things. I didn't think she had the intention of either one of those.
Why
it was
would-
just a matter of timing in the movie. It was.
She does remember though, because
Yes, she does. Yeah, it's like you got that blank expression.
And she
on
got the guy who trips her in the animated sequence. She jumps over his leg the last time,
Yeah.
so she doesn't have to fall down the stairs.
yeah.
And then one of the thing. Oh, one of
the
I
gun
thought
safety lock.
Yeah, I thought was one of the clever things that the filmmakers did was, since they didn't really want to have her going up and down a set of stairs all the time, that's why the animation was there.
Oh yeah.
They did that, and the
Well,
the
for
scene where
stunt
she trips.
reasons.
Yeah, and it was like the trip scene was just basically her getting up from from falling down. Again, like the scooter guy going over the car, making it all dramatic and hitting the windshield. That was just. I think if you really cut that shot down, he's on top of one of the other cars and he just kind of fake dives into the windshield, you know. It's just, and they just do a nice cut of it, making him look like he just went over a car. But that was one of the what do they call it, the economy of the shot. You know,
So this was kind of a low budget German film, right?
Yeah.
And it was amazing what they were able to do with such little, resources on their staging of these great establishing shots. I imagine were shot early in the morning. The colors in this film was really pretty pronounced. I mean, obviously the red of her hair, the red of the phone. What else? The red of the bag, the ambulance.
The first bag.
Now, did we have
specifically?
And I don't have the answer to this, but the symbolism of red. We probably should have Googled that, but we didn't. Does anybody know what the purpose of the symbol of red on that? Because
I'm not really
it was
sure.
a deliberate, deliberate choice there. But I have to research.
I wonder if maybe it, because it was in the middle of an intersection when the movie finally ended. It starts with red for the bag, then the next one it turns green.
Oh, did it?
Stoplights?
Well, that was because she got it out
Was
of
the
garbage
bag
can.
yellow by the time?
Was the bag ever yellow?
Yeah, it was. When she gets it back from the casino, it's a gold bag.
Ah,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I
Interesting.
didn't
I
see
didn't realize that.
So that's why they had to shoot it in the middle of an intersection
Yeah.
so that you could see. I noticed they were showing the stoplight in the shot when they were showing them.
The red
being in
bag,
the same-
she died, and then the green bag, he died.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about
Green
how.
bag, she stole money
Yeah.
from her father from the bank.
Right.
Yeah.
The gold bag, she just won it,
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that would be considered
even
the
by
golden
cheating.
ending.
By
Yeah,
screaming.
yep. Where she finally learns the lesson of maybe not to rob a bank or
Or
kill.
hold your dad at gunpoint,
Yeah.
even if he's not your real dad.
Well, so some wrong choices that she made. Obviously, is she robbed. Wait. So wait, let's see. She got shot the first time through, right?
Yeah, well, because she was the red, maybe to symbolize the fact
Oh,
that it
it's
was
the
a
first
bloody
thing.
situation.
On IMDb.
She's
Well,
robbing
The colors
a
of
convenience
red,
store.
the hair, the numerous cars, the telephone, the yellow, and the phone box all appear very often in the film. These colors were selected by the director to signify danger. The reds are mainly in Lola's scenes, and the yellows in Manny's. So there was definitely the colors were the transitional scenes.
But you're not reading that. You're getting that out
Oh,
of
I'm
your
just
head.
making
Of course,
it out.
good.
No
I
problem. Oh,
appreciate that. That's good.
I'm just looking at
We'll have to edit that one out. Okay. So red was her color of danger. Green was.
Well, green's not mentioned, but
Oh.
yellow and red were the primary.
Okay. Yeah.
Two scenes.
Because you saw that like that wasn't that train that I guess that train.
Oh,
was
the train
orange.
was yellow.
Was it? Yeah. The
The
train was
car?
yellow. Yeah. And when
No, when
they
she
always
was
did that
running-
establishing
Oh,
shot that she was running in the city and they had the train always
They have the train
moving
going
to
by.
a
It's
screen.
yellow.
Right? Or something like that. Yeah. No, it's interesting. But obviously, all of that was legitimate, or not. I'm sorry, specific. For him to get an emotional response or a psychological response to the viewer when he's displaying this character. So, what were some obstacles that she had to overcome to get her boyfriend's money?
Oh, to get him the money,
Well, she had to resort to violence, to theft,
Yeah.
and then to luck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or
yeah.
well-timed cheating.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. Yeah, because it didn't really explain the backstory of her special screaming power.
The time travel.
Yeah, or the time. Yeah, so there was a lot of things we just. Yeah.
For the screaming thing, she only did it once each act, right?
Pretty much. I mean, she did it in the very, very beginning when she was hanging up the phone. In each act she does the scream.
But whatever it is,
she would break the glass in the office.
For whatever
So maybe she only has one screaming cue, and she needs to pick when she uses it wisely.
Yeah, maybe so.
You got one bullet.
That's right. And this is the time to use it. Describe, Elizabeth, a little bit of the stylized way that they used photographs to flashback different people's lives, like the old lady who kept calling her the FFB, well, they did it on the old lady, and they also did on like the two lovers that eventually had
the lady in the bank.
Yeah, describe how they used that in the film.
Well, for the lady with the child in the first one, she what was it? Her child. It flashes forward to when her child dies, I think, and then she's so distraught that it shows her stealing another woman's child.
Yeah.
And she runs off with it, and it has it for her own. And
these are still photographs. These aren't actually footage. These are just still photographs timed, long enough to show you what you need to know, and then move fast.
Well, obviously, like, it was put in there to emphasize the whole butterfly effect, but do it quickly, and how it affects other people's lives, not just the main characters. Like, everybody, when they're going through their lives, I guess not everybody, but most people, when they're going through their lives, they kind of think of themselves as the main character. It's hard for us to realize that everybody is the main character in their own story, and they have their own distinct lives. The one that fascinated me was the old lady. Like, obviously the first time she stole a baby because her real one died. Then in the next one, she got a lot of money, which was from a lottery.
Yeah.
And
lived happily ever after with the kids and the.
I don't know if it was happily ever after.
No, but it was definitely.
But like she didn't. I noticed that
she didn't steal babies.
Well,
so that'd be a lesson to you. When lotteries, you don't steal babies.
Well, the fact that she didn't swear the last time, I don't think.
When she became religious, and
then like on the third transition, she doesn't even get touched, so she just kind of casually looks at her.
Yeah, she casually looks at her. She doesn't swear.
Goes off to church.
And becomes an
evangelist.
That was
yeah.
That's
passing
quite
out
the
watchtowers.
Yeah.
But I wonder if for each of those flashbacks, maybe they have something similar to do with the act that they're taking place in. So, like, in the second one, the fact that she won the lottery, the lady won the lottery, the girl also, was very involved at the bank because she was stealing money from her father, who has a lot of money pictures on his walls for some reason.
It's a bank.
Well, I've never seen a bank like that.
Again,
I want pictures of money in my room.
It goes to that low budget thing. I mean, it wasn't a bank that they filmed this in.
How do we make this
used
look bank?
an abandoned building.
As a set dresser, you have no budget. You have to make the audience believe that this is a bank. How do you do it? You hit them on the head with this is a bank. Here's money.
No.
Deutsche Bank.
You take pictures of happy people who are talking about their next house they're gonna buy.
But then you gotta record.
They're totally not gonna be.
You gotta record the dialogue. You gotta do the add the extra actors. So that's budget. It's so much cheaper. Here's a picture of money. This is problem solved.
They should have them all be the exact same actor in all the photos that they put on the walls.
That would be funny. That would be
funny.
That would be funny.
Oh, every bank I go to, there's a picture of money somewhere. It's just not near me.
No, I see checks. I see pictures of checks. Checkbooks.
Yeah.
Of course that's real money.
Yep, exactly. All right, Jennifer, so describe to us the photograph journey of the love couple the German love couple that was
The one that came
no,
up
no,
with
and tell us the whole story. So Anne, go tell us the.
Okay, the whole story. It starts off with a meet cute. A lady bumps into the dude, drops her stuff, he picks up her stuff. Oh, here it is, and then you go and have coffee together. And there's a bondage scene. Yay! They're running doing bikini things, and you live happily ever after.
Well, that was the final act.
Yeah.
That was the
The
happiest
first
ending.
one
dies.
she slit her road after she gets in a car accident and she's wheelchair bound. She slits her wrists.
And then in the next one, does she pass by the guy, but
Oh,
never talks to him? Or was that a different?
No, that was a different one. That was where the bicyclist ends up.
A junkie?
Bicyclist ends up a junkie, and the woman in one of the transitions, the guy gets beat up by a bunch of guys for his bicycle that's already stolen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
right.
and then he becomes friends with this woman, and then they marry and happily ever after. The next transition, the next scene where he's involved, same scene, but now the next act where he has the picture transition, he becomes a complete junkie, and eventually in one of the pictures you see the very girl that he married in the last scene just walk away from him, ignoring him because he's homeless and everything. And then
There was like 5 shots of him just being like drugged out.
Yeah.
Like this
With a
exact
scraggly
same
beard.
position.
Exactly.
It was like he was in the same position for like weeks or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I keep going back to the reason why we accepted all these weird rabbit trails is because it was a stylized movie. So we accepted this must be part of the style. This must be part of the style. So truth be told, if you guys want to,
It definitely fit thematically.
absolutely, because it was another thing that filmmakers have in their pockets was called the ticking time clock. And what that does is that puts pressure on. It makes the audience sit closer or further in their seat and lean forward because we've literally given them a ticking time clock of things have to happen at this specific time or a bomb goes off or somebody gets shot. And what that does is that adds more drama and it makes the audience want to find out how this is going to end, in the end. So it keeps them involved the whole time on every detail,
Mm-hmm.
Keeps them distracted too.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to guess on what's going to happen next. So you distract them with we were involved in this girl's life. Now we're going to get involved in someone else's life for a few split seconds.
Yeah.
And then you laugh because, something funny happened in said split seconds to that person's fate. Or something sad, obviously, in some cases. But, definitely keeps you more involved. And it's probably great, just in general, to help the story move along because you can't be with that main character the entire time. You need to move into other events that are going on. Otherwise, their journey, it seems a lot shorter.
Yeah, that probably stagnates your interest and you need to mix it up a little for sure. I think that this is one of those films that has so many Easter eggs in it that you need to watch it quite a few times to really connect the dots because we didn't get much of an explanation as to what the old lady and her journey had to do with really she just was somebody that Lola bumped into. We didn't get really much of an explanation as to the couple that went off to be married and had bondage fantasies. We didn't get
I really didn't want to elaborate on that personally.
Let's just
Not into 50 Shades of Grey?
yeah, exactly. That'll be the next movie night. No. Actually, I've never seen that.
Is that the one where we watch bad movies?
Yeah. No, one night a
believe
month,
me,
though,
I can bring
we are
those
going to
in.
bring in
There's
one
bad
bad
movies
movie.
and then there's
Burly bad.
Naughty
Burly
movies.
movies. Yeah. But
I
with-
think 50 Shades of Grey is both.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? I haven't. I didn't have
I
any
tried
interest
to read
in
the
it.
book once dramatically in Target with my brother. We didn't get kicked out. I was surprised we didn't get kicked out.
That's funny. There was
But
a
it was really boring,
Oh,
actually.
really? Yeah. There was a meme online of 50 Shades of Grey books stacked over and over, and it said 50 Shades of Grey books returned after they got done reading it because they're like, I'm bored with it, And so,
She's really not a good writer.
Yeah.
Well, it was literally a fan fiction of Twilight.
It was.
So, a really twisted fan fiction, but...
With very good marketing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, apparently.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
America has bad taste.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah.
They let the crap fall to the top.
They let the crap fall to the top.
That's
Boy.
where Jersey Shore came from.
Hey, I'm from Jersey.
What good
That
comes
shows
out
an
of it?
embarrassment to even me.
Yeah.
So you agree.
This is true. Did you guys notice the lights outside of for them announcing the Harry Potter exhibit in Universal?
I didn't realize
Was this
that
part of the
that's
film?
what it was for.
No. Now I'm going on a tangent. Now I'm going on a tangent. All right. Let me focus. Thanks for helping me focus back on it. Okay, so what lesson do you think Lola learned in this film? Anything at all?
Don't wave guns around at your dad and rob banks.
Yeah, that might be one.
Timing is everything.
Timing is everything. Yeah. Anything?
You gotta know where your priorities are.
Yeah.
This is where the safety is.
That's true. And I think probably learned about how crappy her family is. I mean, her father wanted to run away with another woman, and then her mother wanted to run away with another.
And it
guy,
wasn't even her real father.
Yeah.
Her real father died.
That actually makes him slightly better because he's still stuck around
To
somewhat.
raise it, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
at least he was
somewhat,
very blunt about it.
Well,
He's
like
like,
her
okay,
point.
straight up, I'm gonna go run away. Tell your mom I'm not coming back. I'm dating somebody totally different now.
Yeah. Do you see yourself using any of these techniques in possible films coming up, or is there anything that you could use out of this film in your own filmmaking? Anything at all?
Well, one thing humans naturally are attracted to is patterns. Whenever we see something happen after another thing, like we find it, is it a coincidence or does it mean something? We latch onto that stuff like
That's
crazy.
a survival mechanism is what that is because once we begin to recognize patterns, we begin to understand how things, should work ideally in an ideal world. And usually those who understand patterns faster tend to, be able to excel at different hunting patterns, different, clothing patterns. So yeah, it's a survival mechanism that we have for sure.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way to study characters and situations by just tweaking one little variable and seeing, okay, if I do this a little differently and keep everything else the same, what's going to change?
It definitely felt like a choose your own adventure movie, if you will,
Because I know I'd always look at the endings and keep my fingers between every page until I was just reading it like this, and I know you can't see me. Just imagine I've got all 10 fingers stuck in between pages of books because I wanted to see all the endings.
Nice.
I'm one of those idiots.
Well, you're exploratory. That's good. That's good.
I wondered what you guys would think of Life is Strange. It's a video game.
Oh, I played that.
Yeah, it's a choose your own adventure type video game. I mean, yes, there are definitely video games that have that element in them as well.
Virtue's
But-
Last Reward.
But
Just
this
the whole
is
Zero
this has
Escape
the time
series.
element as well. It went farther than I thought it was going to. Concept wise, I guess I can't really talk about it because that would be spoilers. So never mind then.
Yeah, I've seen the do-over thing work really well in this series called Zero Escape with 999 Doors, Virtue's Last Reward, and they're making a third one coming up, but I'm not going to spoil that either. Let's just say it makes very good use of the whole do-over thing and retaining your memories of past playthroughs.
I'm old school. I'm like Contra, up, down, left, right, A, B, A, B. And that's how you get endless lives, and you get to play that over and over and over again.
So what I have to keep telling people with computers, it's all about repetition.
That's right. No,
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's with everything, when
Until you switch from one.
You can even use a Konami code in
Oh,
G-Chat.
Mac to
Is
move
it?
Yeah,
to
but you
the
hear me on the
operating
phone when I'm
system.
talking to somebody.
I'm not sure what
Just
that
click
is.
on the icon.
Oh, yeah,
go
in
open the upper
Gmail,
right
if you
hand
open
corner.
it, if you
I
have
know
the
where that
Yahoo.
is.
I have
They
Gmail,
don't.
yeah.
You
What
have
side
Gmail?
right is
Yeah,
are
there's
you
a chat
talking
function
about?
in
You know?
Gmail.
No, I
Open
mean
up
like
the Konami
going
code,
from
it
Mac
randomly
to
selects
like
the background.
Windows
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, it doesn't
because
matter.
it's on the opposite side
Yeah.
of the screen.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't matter to me. I'll be in front of I don't even have to be in front of a computer sometimes. I'll just go over to that thing that looks like an apple. Where's that?
Yeah.
Go up to the left. No, your left.
I don't see it. Put on
What are
your
you talking
glasses.
about? Yeah, I love that. They're doing today. I can't see shit.
The
Well, great.
subtitles are just too small.
No, not about the movie. I'm just saying about these. You can edit this one out, but the Retina Max, all these old people just hate them because everything is so tiny. I have to, as a convenience, I put them up a notch on the text so you can read them. These old people are like, oh, that's great.
Nice. All right, so probably should close this out unless somebody else has something else to add about this film or observation, color. editing, cutting, character development.
My tongue was twitching when I'd hear them speak German fast because I was learning German in high school.
Sure.
And I was told by my teacher that I enunciated really well.
All right.
And so, it was kind of weird.
I felt the need we should watch it in German with the English subtitles only because I've watched it, a portion of it in English, and it's really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I'm a Neanderthal on that movement of watching foreign films in their foreign language
You need to watch some anime.
because
You watch so many of them.
Yes, I get it, but but it takes me away from the visuals, and for me as a board artist, I want to appreciate the visuals, and if I spend most of my time reading the damn story instead of watching the damn story,
we could do it, but I'll tell you,
No,
this thing, there were people in an echoey room reading lines. They didn't even bother making anything sound like they were in the location where they were.
What I don't
And it wasn't even about the lip syncing. It was just really wow, somebody's just reading out of a line.
Basically a straight up voiceover, not even voice acting.
It wasn't even just
It was a
voice
table
acting.
read.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice.
The first table read.
Exactly.
But I find it funny that you say it's hard to keep up with the subtitles because you're the type of person who, when you see an animation at 24 frames per second, you can catch the little things that are off slightly.
I can't read. I can't read a sentence.
Mr. Perfection.
I know. Like
You gotta brush up on your speed reading.
like, the cat. What happened? They just changed.
Oh, it's gone! Bring back the last subtitle!
I lost it. No, I don't know. It is what it is. All right. So on that horrible note, I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I guess we'll just go around. Announce your name and I'll cut it together as this. Just say this is, and I'll cut it at the end. So this is.
This is Zelda.
This is Rich, and you can cut that out.
Wait, 2 more.
This is Jen.
This is Elizabeth.
This is Rick, and thanks for listening.